What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Titus, and today we have some problems. You know, sometimes the hardest moments in life is when something happens and you realize you've got nobody to blame but yourself. And that could be a very, very hard obstacle to overcome because, as I told you guys, I wanted to start focusing in a little more on the dungeons. I've been farming campaign like crazy because, you know, I see all of these, you know, new characters and I want to level them all up and I want to test them all out. And unfortunately, where that's left me is I have a lot of food and not a lot of gear to put on all those people I want to bring to 60. So I come in and I'm doing heavy metal. I'm searching around. I'm trying to put together a team. I grabbed a team. I think it was Jay Giggs was kind of like, hey, here's a super free to play friendly, low investment team. It'll get you through heavy metal 10. And I do heavy metal 10 and I fail heavy metal 10. I've been able to do stage 9. It ain't pretty, but it gets the job done. With stage 10, we haven't been able to do it quite yet. This is the team that I'm running. So I'm bringing Gunslinger. I'm stacking, I crit capped him, or almost damn near crit capped him, but sometimes 99% might as well be 0%, it feels like. And then the rest, I've just put HP on him. I want him to be as tanky as possible so that he actually survives, because I was having a problem where Gunslinger wasn't getting through the waves. It was dying a lot. And so I got him to 60, put some HP on him. We're bringing Hog Chef. Again, kind of same shtick, although for her, we're putting speed because we want her to cycle her A3 as many times as possible to get rid of all of those dots. Other than the speed, again, HP percentage, we're trying to build them tanky. Before we worry about anything else, building them tanky. Next, we've got, I don't have a light popo on this account. I have a lot of good pulls. Cannot complain about the pulls. They have been mint, but one that has eluded me thus far has been light popo. So I brought fire popo instead because at least with the A2, she's kind of doing the same thing. She's also bringing the speed down for all enemies along with the action bar decrease. So that's always nice. And again, for her, we're crit capping her. As you can see, I think we're a little over crit cap, but it's kind of hard to get the numbers just right. And then again, we've got HP. We've got HP percentage. We're trying to keep her tanky so that she actually survives. Next, we've got kind of the GOAT of my account thus far, and someone who's been putting in a lot of work, both in campaign and in wave content, all that stuff, is Water Garolian. We're getting the buff strip from him on his A3, which really comes in handy because, you know, we got to get rid of that shield. He's also bringing defense down, attack down, speed down, all the essential debuffs. You know, he's our guy for that. And then we've got light sharpshooter, and I'm bringing her because she's got another heal, because I've had a lot of problems with people getting murked on the waves and on the boss. So I brought more healing, removing inability debuffs, which the boss doesn't do, but she's also our backup buff removal, because if Water Garolian doesn't get it done, and as you can see, his accuracy is kind of poor, light sharpshooter is our backup for that. She's gonna buff strip, and we have her set to only use her A2 when the enemy has a buff. Now the problem is, I'm still having a problem where people are dying during the waves. And if they're dead when I get to the boss, they're dead anyway. And then even when I get to the boss, it's kind of a long slog to get them dead. And then I end up failing right at the end anyway. I don't know what happens. The last run I did before this, light sharpshooter just missed 2 buff strips in a row. I guess 65% accuracy wasn't quite enough, but it's kind of hard to know exactly how much accuracy she needs. And of course, then I'm sacrificing some of her tank stats for accuracy. So I'm going to show you guys a run and kind of let you see exactly what I'm talking about. But don't worry, I will fast forward through the unimportant stuff or speed it up so that you don't, you're not sitting there for 20 minutes, because this is going to be a bit of a drag. I'm gonna lie to you. So let's hit the play button, and I will see you guys when, I'm hoping that the camera rolling, it finally work, because that sometimes seems to be my luck, but I'm not super confident in it. So I guess we'll see.
I'm in danger.
All right. So, as you guys can see, I failed spectacularly there. And it's funny because in the run I did before this, before I turned on the camera, before I, let you guys sneak peek into how the account's doing, I had actually gotten really close. I had failed in my team wiped, but the boss only had 5%. And almost as if William Shakespeare himself is writing the tragedy of my life, we failed spectacularly there. But that's kind of what I was talking about, where things just kind of go off the rails. You know what I mean? And so it's one of those things where I don't know. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I have some ideas. I have some ideas for the ways we could change up the team. Because it's kind of apparent that Hog Chef is maybe not going fast enough to cycle her A3 well enough, and then the poison starts stacking up, and then people are getting kicked in their face and they're getting axe chopped over the side of the head, and that's, oh man, that is a terrible feeling. So we do have some people that I thought would be pretty interesting for the squad. The problem is really that I've been finding is that Nat 4s and Nat 5s are, well, I'm sure as you guys probably already know, Nat 4s and Nat 5s are really hard to build out. Nat 4s almost in some ways feel harder to build out because when I'm strengthening something, I've used up all my unripe power beans. So that might be a little bit of a my bad. These power beans, they don't exactly grow on trees, and I don't have very many of them. And so it's one of those things where, my first thought was Fire Iron Fist actually seems to have a pretty good kit for this, specifically when it comes to, she's got the remove all debuffs, increase action bar, and she's granting immunity. But if I don't book her out, that's a raid term, but essentially level up her skills, that's on a 6-turn cooldown. And that 6-turn cooldown ain't helping nobody. And then my fear is I'm going to put 2 power beans in, even if I hit on that A3, which is statistically improbable. If that doesn't fix my problem, well, then I'm not 100% sure. I know that a lot of people have talked about certain mons. Water Puppet Master gets used a lot. I've seen him a lot in the strategy tab. The problem is I always see him with a really hardcore speedrun team, and I do not have a really hardcore speedrun team. I have a slow and steady, doesn't even win the race team. So I am calling on you guys to help me. Who you think, looking at the squad, I mean, there's a couple of answers, right? One, it might just be a gear problem, and it might just be the fact that I need to come in and I need to get better gear on these guys. I'm doing boxing club, no problem. Aside from the fact that it is a painfully slow run, I think I average out about 3 or 4 minutes a run. But realistically, I get it done and I never fail. And that's the important part, right? So if it's a gear issue and I should just keep grinding Boxing Club, then I'm just going to keep grinding Boxing Club. If it's a team build issue, then, you know, if you guys have any suggestions for who I should take out or, you know, who I should sub in, that would be greatly appreciated, because right now I'm feeling kind of foolish, not gonna lie to you, because, you know, there's this mindset I guess you kind of have when you're making videos where you're like, I should know what the hell I'm talking about, and I don't. I really don't. I you know what? That's not true. You want to know about farming? I got you, because I've done a lot of farming. I've done a lot of farming and I am damn near an expert on that. Oh, I am definitely not an expert when it comes to clearing heavy metal. And the other dungeons, I've been so gun shy that I haven't really worked on them much. And it's also kind of a progression thing. I kind of want to get heavy metal 10 done, dusted, and on farm before I work on the next, you know, the next crazy leg of my adventure in getting this done. Other than that, I'm still working on, a little bit of the Colossus team. Now, I notice a lot of people have not been talking about this much or really doing it. And I can kind of see why. Dealing 10 million damage, and ideally, you know, you deal 10 million damage to each boss with 1 key each. But if you deal your 10 million damage, you're getting 5 summons. And if you can do that across all 5, then you're getting 25 summons every 6 days, which is weird. You would think it was 7. Well, I guess 6. They're doing like a 30-day spread. So basically, you do that every 6 days. And at the end of 30 days, you will be getting 125 free summons every month, basically. As a raid player, this was always our bread and butter. That was kind of your North Stars. Like, what do I build my account around? Get into Clan Boss, which is our version of Colossus, because that is the only place you're going to be farming summons. So it's still very ingrained in my brain, and I've got this team, but it is not exactly perfect. It is doing all right for itself. It's getting up to about, I can do about 800k, almost 1 million per key, before it just kind of, the speed tune falls out of sync and people start dying, and then the run just falls apart. And I have noticed that I don't know if it's just, you know, kind of raid brain or whatever, but speed tuning in this game feels different than it does in raid. I don't know if that's true, but it feels that way. I don't know how to explain it really, but once I learn how to articulate it, I'll let you guys know. And really the process for this team is we're bringing Light Sorcerer, absolutely insane pull. We're getting 2 turns immunity and invincible, so no debuffs, no damage, right? And then we're bringing Fire Occult Dancer. She's bringing defense down, which is always solid. She is bringing speed up, and we've done some tests with her not using her A3 because I was worried that the speed up might be the reason why the speed tune is falling apart, but it still falls apart anyway. We are using her A2 to extend buffs. We're also using String Maid to extend buffs. And so basically, this becomes a 4-turn immunity and invincible on a 4-turn cooldown. We've tried to sub in Engineer Robot, and he might not be the guy for this. Also, if you see them missing runes, it's because I generally, like I said, I don't have a lot on the account. And so I do a lot of swapping around depending on what content I'm really laser focused in on. His A2 is giving us cooldown reduction. And so the nice thing about the cooldown reduction, I thought, would be, you know, regardless of whether or not we can tune Light Sorcerer with String Maid and with Fire Occult Dancer, you know, they're extending buffs, and then Engineer is reducing the cooldowns. And so theoretically, we should always have Invincible and Immunity running. And the devs, to my part, I think they thought about this because beginning on 50th turn, all attacks ignore Invincible and Unyield, which means when you hit 50 turns, even if you're even if you're taking no damage and unkillable, you gonna die. And that is exactly the way the clan boss works in Raid. So I'd be surprised if they didn't borrow a little creative license there. Outside of that, we're using Tree Sharpshooter because, funnily enough, and this might be a user error, building her out, and with Tree Bookworm, Tree Sharpshooter is actually still doing more single target damage. I don't know if it's because Tree Bookworm, his A4 hits or his A3 hits really hard, but it's a 4-turn cooldown, where Tree Sharpshooter, because of her passive, she's always ignoring 20% damage or 20% debuff. 20% defense. Words. I'm so frazzled by the heavy metal run that I can't even speak. She's always ignoring 20% of the enemy's defense, and she's always adding an attack which deals more damage the lower the enemy's HP is. Which, funnily enough, this passive didn't always read that way, and I noticed that they've probably been doing a little bit of work on the localization. So, hey, shout out to you guys for, you know, doing that. But I've found that for me, Sharpshooter actually just pure single target is doing more single target damage. And this boss is only a single target boss, so win-win. All right, well, that's been enough chin wagging for me today, guys. Other than that, we've been slowly building. I've been very disciplined. Okay, I'm doing this for you guys because I really want to pull these shards, but I kind of really want you guys to be there when I do it. So there will be another shard pull video coming soon. Look forward to that. I also, a little bit of a teaser here, might have some ideas for some projects coming up. Not 100% sure of all the details yet, but there may or may not be a couple of new series coming to the channel. I'll let you guys know more once I actually get all of that cemented, but that is definitely something to look forward to. So that's really been it for me, guys. If you like the vision, if you had fun with the video, if you've got any help for me, leave a comment below, like and subscribe, all that fancy YouTube stuff. It really means a lot to me, and it's really been helping the channel out, and I cannot express in human language how much that really means to me. But that's all for now, guys. I've been Titus, and until next time, I'll see you.